Hello YouTube, I just had to get the intro in there. I've just gone through the 4 seasons on this review. I've not watched Lois and Clark in, it must be a good 15, 20 years. I've caught the odd episode over the years, but I picked up a few months ago, picked them up, all 4 box sets, and I thought, right, I'm going to give this a go. Honestly, I think with Smallville coming in over years and all of a sudden, you sort of moved on. But I went back and I watched the first season, and it was absolutely brilliant watching again. I've got season 1 here. So I ended up watching season 1, 2, 3 and 4. And you know, I watched season 1, and it's a really, it's a very feel-good sort of programme, because when I used to watch it with my family on a Saturday night, it was big viewing in our house. I think it were on about 6:15 on BBC One on a Saturday. And I remember the 2-hour pilot started, you know, and it was different to how the films were or how we'd perceive Superman. I did a bit of research. It said they based a lot of it on the John Byrne Man of Steel comics that came out. You remember when after Infinite Crisis they revamped Superman, didn't they? They made him less powerful and more human, and the Man of Steel, I do recommend getting the graphic novel. It's still out there, you pick it up. It was a 6 comic run of the Man of Steel. They really altered his origins, and his background Krypton were different. This is before obviously the DC even changed it since. But that, to me, when they did the John Byrne Superman, that was my Superman. I grew up on Christopher Reeve, he was my movie Superman. But I'll go into all that in a minute. So I sat in that Saturday night and I watched the 2-hour pilot, and I really enjoyed it. It was totally different. What I liked about Lois and Clark, it wasn't about Superman, it was about Clark Kent. It was just about him and his family, and how he comes into contact with Lois. And Terry Hatcher, she was just stunning. I remember everybody were just, she was the hottest thing on the block at the time, was Terry Hatcher, you know, and everybody, we all just loved her. She was feisty and she was funny, and she was just so lovable, wasn't she? And you just, they had this chemistry between them both, would there or wouldn't, and it went on episode after episode, you know, and Clark had got that connection with her, but she just rebuffed him, and it went through, like, I mean, in movie there's where he's trying on different costumes. He's going to become Superman. I mean, his first appearance when he stops that bus on the street and his hands are tied into the bus, and that woman sees him and he runs off, and he gets a job for Daily Planet. Lane Smith, brilliant actor, Perry White. They did change Jimmy Olsen. I think they changed him. I think the 2nd season, I think. And the very first pilot episode, it established everything pretty quick. And then you got into like a weekly routine of them investigating these weird crimes or something going on. But the main protagonist was, who was based on the comic book Lex Luthor. Because before that, Lex Luthor was like this mad scientist, and he was always inventing the death ray, and that was the old early sort of Superman in the comics. But after John Byrne, they made him an industrialist, which made a lot of sense. That he's I mean, I'm a big, massive Lex Luthor fan. I love him. I love the Justice League Unlimited series version of him. That is, to me, that is Lex Luthor. What he is 12th level intellect. He's the most intelligent human being on the planet, probably in the universe. And he uses his mind for finance gain. So I think we like crazy scientists and that, and robbing banks. I don't think they wouldn't need to. They're so intelligent, and that everybody around them so stupid. And you know, he's going to use this intellect and what he's about to build an empire. I remember in the comics when he became president of America. That's a good run. it is a very good run in the comic when he was president of America. Now they brought him down as well, but that's for another video. So John Shee played him, and what an amazing exit. He's like sat by a fireplace, and his butler lets in a snake, and the snake's ready to strike, and he just turns his face, and you see him, and he just stares the snake down. And I was just so locked on to that, and I thought, this is just brilliant. You know, that they got Lex Luthor. I mean, they didn't really go into him being an intellect. He was more a manipulator, a master planner. He played people. But, I mean, they did sort of mention later on in first but he went into science and stuff. But I think it would have been good to have brought him more as a genius as well. Not just like, you know, inventing stuff. But he didn't. He got other people to do stuff for him. But I love, like, he built up the LexCorp brand, and he owned everything in Metropolis. And he ran everything. He ran the underworld, he ran everything in Metropolis for years. And he had a really dodgy background with his family and all that. And then it goes through 22 episodes of Superman and him, and there's Clark Kent meets him. And all that, and he becomes a bit obsessed with Lois Lane, and you know, but she's got this thing where everybody just locks onto her, becomes obsessed with her. And his hatred for Superman, it's interesting because you can why he hates Superman, but there's this like respect for him as well, because there's nobody who can challenge his intellect, who he is, you know, like Superman. And it's like the opposite sides of the coin, and it sets it all out beautifully. And I mean, and he is a monster. I mean, there's moments he's funny, but then he has these moments where he's a complete psychopath, and you really get into his side of him. John Shee said he loved playing him. He said he loved him, and you build it up to like the 2-part, 3-part final end of season 1, the House of Luthor, where his empire comes crashing down. Which I did think that was a bit of a mistake. You know, but apparently there was issues. He lived in New York and he didn't want to go to Los Angeles, and so they sort of dropped him from the series and sort of kept popping up. I mean, there were a lot of guest stars in this as well. Jonathan Frakes, Robert Beltran. There were loads of them, like famous television stars. I mean, they were all popping up left, right, and centre in Superman in this. And so there were some decent villains. I mean, Tempest, who come in second season, were interesting. And H.G. Wells. I mean, they did go off the grid a bit with it, with some really sort of villains. I mean, I remember the old Metal thing with the cyborgs and Superman. They all, I think they were being powered by kryptonite and stuff. There was the military guy, Colonel something, who got hold of the kryptonite and knew it could kill Superman. That were he were all in it for Terrence Knox. They were in that Vietnam series just to watch that on a Saturday night. It was really good. Seen that in years, I forgot what it was called. But Terrence Knox were in it. Lee Turner was this fanatical, worked for a secret government organisation that like collected alien artefacts and stuff. And they brought all that in, but the main thing of the relationship with Superman's foundation stones, and it does explain a lot. You get into why Superman's like he is, and that's what I liked about this. His parents were wonderful. His parents were simply they were just decent people, and they had a good core, and Lois balanced him out, and you know, he had enough decent things in his life to keep him grounded, and that's what I loved about this. It was always very positive, and Clark, he never gave up on people. Never gave up on people, even when they went down the wrong thing, and that's what you liked about this. Look, some of the episodes were damn right cheesy, and some of the villains were terrible. They were, but they were just like background things in some episodes. It was always about him and Lois, which you just got really focused. I remember a lot of my female friends at the time, and a girl, somebody was saying at the time, she just loved it. You know, she really, really loved it. I mean, I remember everybody used to phone me up after it. Did you watch Superman tonight? I was in the pub Saturday night, and everybody, didn't matter, nobody answered the bloody phone. Nobody. They were watching Superman, or it was being recorded. This programme had such an impact on all of us. The writing was really good, and I'm going to give this now. Season 2 was really good, and then season 3, there were a lot of like one-off storylines in season 2 which were good, but no major recurring villains. Tempest popped up and stuff, and there were like a few magical episodes. I mean, it were good. The prankster, I'm not the prank toy man. I don't think Metalepolicate or whatever it. No, was he in it? Anyway, I'll have to check again. So I just completed the final episodes of the 4th season today. So I got through season 2 and I really enjoyed it. But and then when I did some research, I know that them two never got on, did they? Terry Hatcher and Dean Cain. They never really got on with each other. Apparently we're getting worse with each season, like where they just didn't get on. I know they say, I've seen them both together on interviews now that you know they do now, but they were both young. I mean, she was becoming a big star, and she is a big star, and so were they. And you know, it put them on the global fame they got for this. I remember when they were on TV programmes over here being interviewed, everybody was just Superman, Lois and Clark bonkers at the time. And then second season were a great run. Then we got into third, and that's where it sort of started getting a bit bad. The writing wasn't as good. It just wasn't as quality. I mean, some great episodes in the third season. I mean, the best episodes for me is when Luthor turned up. But it did drag out where he cloned Lois and all that, and it was getting a bit annoying. I mean, how they finished on third episode, I would have thought it's where Luthor did he die, you know, because there were all that when he found out Clark Kent was Superman, and he you know, he was going to destroy him, and he had this molecularized ray gun. He brought him down. I mean, he was completely bloodthirsty. But Lois, because she was like, she lost her memory and she thought she was somebody else, and it was getting a bit monotonous, because by this time, and she knew it was Superman and that, but where were you going to go with it after that? So you got to end of season 3, and then in came the Kryptonians, Lord No, and that were okay, you know. I like the guy that played Simon Temple that played Lord No. He was hilarious, really good. It was, you sort of got a bit out of space, and then after that it went down. It just went downhill. 4th season I didn't really enjoy that much. Then I got to end of it, and final episode with the kid turning up at the door. I mean, with Fathead and all that, it was just crap. But apparently the kid was Kryptonian, and in season 5 they're going to bring up the Kryptonian kid, because it had been protected from other royal Kryptonian family houses. But yeah, it's not Smallville, and there isn't a lot of kryptonite in this. This is what I liked about it. It's made this really good. But where this, like Smallville, it fell on its feet a lot. I mean, Smallville should have finished at season 8 for me. After Justice League, just got rid of it, because it got worse after that. But Lois and Clark holds a special place for me. It always will. And, you know, it's one of the best for the 90s. This was a great positive thing for Superman, and I do recommend the DVDs. You get a lot of extras. You can pick these up for £3 or £4. Definitely worth it, and the episodes are online and great. But I really enjoyed it. It was nice to relive the moments. Seasons 1 and 2 are the best. I did like the Lord Nord episodes with the Kryptonian thing. I didn't like the death of Lex Luthor. It sort of annoyed me. But John Shee were marvellous. And there is some classic villains in it. A lot of star actors. And the chemistry between these two were just fantastic.